What up, YouTube? JT, I am the Tie here, bringing you guys yet again another episode of Final Fantasy IX, and I want to say I'm your host, but I'm not really your host. In today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of Chocograph hunting back in Chocobo's forest, and now, once you pick up the mountain ability with Choco, when he turns red, there's actually two little things on the top left and the top right, like in the center of the area, where you can climb up, and then you can find Chocographs. So that's why you can find new Chocographs. As for why you find new Chocographs on the bottom as well, and you didn't find them before, is beyond me. But it's game mechanics. I'm not going to question it. It's whatever Squaresoft wants to do. I think the whole Chocograph hot and cold game. I miss Chocograph. I miss Chocobo racing. Chocobo racing is very straightforward, and this is like a lot of up to chance. Like playing hot and cold is hard. It's like playing Marco Polo with people when you're in the pool and you don't know how to swim really well. So it's hard. It's a little bit tough. But anyways, you guys can see exactly what's going on today. I'm going to be doing some Chocograph hunting back in Chocobo's forest, and once I pick up the ocean ability, I'm going to go back to Chocobo's Lagoon, in which case, at that point, the timer will go from 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and then I can go ahead and dig for more Chocographs in that area, pick up more Chocograph pieces. That way, eventually, I can get the Mist Ocean one. I believe the Mist Ocean is the one, the Chocograph that will enable me to get the fly ability with Choco, and then I can go to Chocobo's Air Garden, and then I can actually wrap up like all of the Chocograph business. So, I'm not going to do in today's video, but obviously it's another post-commentary because it gives me a chance to eat cereal and just enjoy stuff. And then hopefully my roommate does not wake up really soon, because it's actually kind of late in the morning, but he stayed up really late last night because he doesn't have to go in for work. But I wanted to talk about some other random stuff in the meantime while I dig for other sort of thing. But anyways, I'm getting back to what I was talking about before in my previous video. I thought the interview went really, really well. I thought it came off really competent. Obviously, they had me doing warehouse stuff in the meantime, and then they had me do a follow-up interview for the warehouse thing. And it's like, I felt like I did a really good job conveying and showing like a lot of interest and passion for that particular area, even though I really don't want to be in a warehouse long term. Because I said, if you're going to put me in the area, I want to lead. I want to lead the area, because I'm perfectly capable of doing so, because I know how to do all this stuff in that area already. I don't feel like technically it's extremely challenging, but it's like, it's leading a group of people. It's kind of like when I was working at In-N-Out Burger for a while. I never ended up getting into the manager program, but it's like, it was fun to run a shift when the manager was like gone on break or something like that and just boss people around. And it's not because I like being bossy, it's because I feel like there's so many people come to me, for knowledge and stuff like that, whether they're like a full-time employee, a temporary employee at my current job, or just like a lower level than me back when they were in and out, and they always ask me, like, why you do this, how you do that, how you become faster doing this. And it's really nice to get that kind of feedback from people. I feel like a lot of people gravitate to the fact that I can do a really good job and I have a really good attention to detail. And I don't feel like I'm a very bossy person normally, but I feel like I do a really good job leading because I do a good job leading by example. So I figured that was going to be like a step that I wanted to do, so that's what I kind of tried to emphasize when I went into that interview the other day. So hopefully they offer me a position. They take a really long time to make a decision. Like when was the last time that I told you guys I actually went in for an interview? It was like a month or 2 months ago, or like they were thinking about it. They take forever to make a decision. It's like they move at a snail's pace. Like snails pass them in terms of decision making. It's really weird. But getting back to that stuff, I just really hope that they put me in manufacturing, although I'm kind of torn, because I really like the people that I work with in the warehouse, because they don't have like this attitude problem that a lot of people have. I feel like a lot of people, when they become really intelligent, they become more closed-minded, and that's very interesting. I feel like it's very true. I think they did a study on that, and they said that people who are more educated and who have bachelor's degrees end up being more closed-minded than people who don't have that kind of stuff, because they're more inclined to be pigeonholed into the opinion that they currently have, whether it's in regards to politics or anything else in that matter. So it's always been very interesting to me to find that you end up becoming more closed-minded when you should be more open-minded after you go to, through schooling or something like that. So that's basically like the scenario that I get put into. Like, obviously you're in manufacturing, these people all think that they're hot stuff because they're like, oh yeah, I can do column chromatography, and I just have to share with you guys after I find this awesome. That was the easiest Chocograph in the world to find, by the way. But 7 ethers, 2 elixirs, 10 wing edges, 1 high mage staff. That's a very good item for VV, by the way. But a lot of the time they feel like they're hot stuff. They're like, oh, I can do column chromatography, I can do this, I can do final formulation of this product that, gets injected into humans. And I'm like, it's not a difficult concept for someone to understand. Quite frankly, I think that in order to work into the plant, I don't even think you need like a science background in order to do it. You just need, like good attention to detail. You don't make mistakes amazingly. Like, you don't make a whole bunch of frequent mistakes. That's really bad. Like, I think we were weighing out something the other day, and then, like, normally, like, you put material into an IPC, which is considered, like, an intermediate bulk container, for those of you who aren't familiar with the lingo, and and he forgot, it was like basically it was a charge that had purely sodium chloride in it, and he left the desiccant bags in there that come along with the container. Like, he forgot to take those out, and he dumped it into the IBC, and that's bad, because you have to scrap it. And then if they send it up to, you know, like where they prepare like the buffer that they use for running it through the column, at that point, then, you know, then you have to scrap, you have to clean the vessel, obviously, because you started the recipe and you can't use it anymore, and then obviously you got to scrap all that material, and that's really expensive. So you don't want to make a whole bunch of mistakes, but I feel like if you're cautious and you take your time and you think about what you're doing and like why you can't do certain things, I feel like it's really intuitive. So I don't understand why people have this attitude, like, when in regards to what they do in terms of science. Is like, I feel like so many people just have like this higher degree now, and it's really confusing when I think about it, because I feel like the problem currently in America isn't that people aren't educated. I feel like so many people are educated, but my education means a lot less. It was kind of like, the way I want to describe it is, I think that okay, well, I found the ocean ability, by the way, so let's go ahead and focus on the gameplay for a second before I hold my thought and get back to you on that. I like that fan, like the grass fan that he has on the side that wiggles back and forth. That's awesome. I want that hat. Is he like the Dalai Lama? Wanderer, we await your return. You are now blue. Choco, you now have the ability to cross oceans. You are getting close to your homeland. Where is my homeland? Why don't you just tell me? Why are you so mean? How do you get so large? What do you eat? Hope you're not eating steroids, then you can't play in the Olympics. They'll catch you. Alright, white screen. Go back to my game. Alright. Okay, but getting back to my thing is, I feel like my education just means, like, it's worth a lot less than it was prior. Because, I mean, like, 'cause obviously going to a 4-year university can cost anywhere between 80 grand and 200 grand, you know, I'm guessing, you know, depending on whether you go to a public school or you go to a private school, and also what state you go into. But that's a general ballpark estimate in terms of bachelor's degrees. But everyone seems to have a bachelor's degree now, right? It's like, 'cause you can get it at, you can get it at, you know, like one of the lower 4-year universities, and it's basically the equivalent of whether you get it at a higher university. I mean, like, obviously, like, if you got it from Harvard and someone's looking at it, they're like, okay, well, they think you're, like, you're hot stuff, right? But, I mean, like, but a 4-year degree is a 4-year degree, because they're, like, honestly, when people are looking at that stuff, they're looking for someone with a 4-year degree, and it becomes, and because so many people have this bachelor's degree now, it becomes this requirement. And I think it's really bad, because basically what it does is that in order to get a job that, say, someone 20, 30 years ago would have only needed a high school degree for it, now you need a bachelor's degree for it, which means that now, in order to get that job, you have to basically invest like 200 to 100 grand of your own money into it in order to make this type of money. And because there's such a large influx of people with bachelor's degrees now, it actually lowers the median wage, at least in my field, it lowers the median wage. So basically a drop. Obviously there's a ton of temp positions that are available now, but they all pay like total crap. And I mean, like, and that's bad, because if the median wage is dropping, but the cost to get to that job is steadily increasing, all it means is that you're going into debt, and it basically means that you have to accept these lower position jobs, and it really puts you in a tough bind. That's kind of awkward. I feel like education in America, just like, it's really backwards at the moment. And I don't want to say that you don't want to encourage people to go to school, but I feel like having a bachelor's degree, like everyone having a bachelor's degree doesn't necessarily make you smarter than someone who doesn't have a bachelor's degree, you know? Because, I mean, somebody who's extremely knowledgeable in whatever craft that they want to do, whatever craft that they want to pursue, they are more knowledgeable in that field than I would be. You know what I mean? So obviously, if everyone gets a bio degree, then it doesn't really do anything for me. All it means is that there's a lot of competition for jobs in the field, and then because there's a lot of competition, they can lower the wage. So, you know, it's a never-ending cycle, and basically I feel like not a lot of people are getting into bio and chemistry and all those other things as well. But I mean, but it brings me back to that whole other problem, like in terms of higher education, because now, like, the cost of higher education, because everyone's now trying to pursue that because they realize their bachelor's degree isn't worth that much, and like the job opportunities that are available just, you know, they don't pay really well, then they all pursue this higher education, and because there's such an influx of people trying to pursue it, it creates like this never-ending cycle where they just constantly increase it. And then I kind of feel like I want to say that basically like all the federal funding that goes into it as well, because it's kind of like free money that they throw into it. Like when you, so like if I gave everyone $1,000, it kind of devalues the $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, so if someone, like, if everyone realizes that everyone had $1,000, like, the price of goods ends up going up in that regard. And I kind of feel like it's the same way with education. kind of like the federal funding actually makes it more expensive in the long haul, and because you just keep on throwing more money at it, because you do want more people to get educated, and that's a good thing, it yeah, the cost of education just keeps on going up, and it's just this never-ending cycle. And the question is, how do you stop that? I think that's really important. So magic tag, shield armor, Gaia gear, just stuff like that. It's just stuff to ponder about. I don't want to like inject like an opinion in there necessarily. I definitely want you guys to go ahead and formulate your own. But I feel like I'm stuck in like this never-ending cycle, and it's very interesting. That's the way that I like to approach politics. I don't want to try to approach it from the left or the right or anything like that. But it's like, I think from my perspective, like a lot of people would say like my current president has done a really good job because the field that they're in, he's made like a positive impact for them. And I feel like he hasn't necessarily made a positive impact in the field that I'm in, or addressed any of the issues that I think are really pressing. But the problem is I don't feel like the other candidate necessarily would do the same exact thing. So I'm not inclined to vote for one or the other because I'm not like extremely passionate about politics. I feel like I have to really like a candidate and really follow their platform in order for them to get my vote. I feel like that's really important. I don't like the whole blanket voting that they try to do, where they say like, oh, young people should just get involved. I think young people should get involved if they really think about the things at hand. You know what I mean? It's like you should get involved in politics if you know how to get involved in politics. You can't just like throw a vote out there. I don't feel like just throwing a vote out there does anyone any good, especially like a blind vote in which you don't really research the subject, because we're voting on really important things in the matter. And of course this has nothing to do with chocograph hunting, but I just wanted to talk about that stuff because I kind of felt like it was a good chance for me to kind of get that off my chest, and then, you know, go back around to more to more relationship stuff as well. So here we go, find another chocograph over in the icy area over here, and we get 11 paradox, 9 opals, 15 sapphires, 19 topaz, and I forget which one. I feel like one of them would give you a garnet as well, which enables you to summon Bahamut, but it might not give it to you until you get a little bit further on in disc number 3. So I forget which one that might be, but whatever, we'll keep on going. Yeah, but getting back to like relationship stuff, it's really awkward because I'm like trying to sit there, and this is the crack. This is the location of where the crack is on the Lost Continent. So go ahead, use a death pepper whenever you see a crack, and when you do that, you're gonna go ahead, open up the treasure in the hole. 41 Lapis Lazuli, good lord, Rosetta ring, protect ring, 1 airship card. But I feel like in terms of like relationship stuff, I'm just like kind of stuck in like this weird funk. So basically, like, I'm gonna talk about it in the next video because I recorded it a little bit ahead of time. But like the person that I'm like trying to pursue, she's seeing someone, but I don't know like how close of a relationship they have. So but she drunk texts me and does all this stuff all the time. So it's like it's sending mixed signals, and I feel like that's like it's very confusing. So it's hard to gauge whether she's actually interested or she's just looking for conversation, or maybe like I'm emotionally being used in that point. But I guess like it brings up another point. I think there's like a really good C.S. Lewis quote. If I can go ahead and pull this up in the meantime, let me go take a look. My sister actually has it on her Facebook, so it's really good. It's like, to love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries, and avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, and irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. And I think that's really interesting. But once again, that's a quote by C.S. Lewis, and I think that's really interesting because it just like, basically it just says like, love hurts. I think that's the most simple way to put it. It's like, love hurts, and to really care about someone is to really just put yourself out there and to be vulnerable. And I think it's really hard. It's really hard to do that in real life, and I think it's something that you have to do, and it's something that I feel like humans have the capability of doing. I think dolphins can do it too, but it's like it hurts to put yourself out there and to be rejected, but I think it's good because I feel like it's what makes you who you are and who you are as a person, because obviously no two people on this world are alike, and I think it's just really important to keep that in mind, and, you know, just recognize that, you know, some of the things in life that you really want, it's worth pursuing, and it's worth getting hurt over, even if people reject you, because I think I've always felt like my life is a lot like How I Met Your Mother, like Ted Mosby, because I always feel like it's always looking for Miss Right or whatever that you're looking for, and it's just like, where is she? And there's always this one segment, I think at the end of I think it was season number 4, where Ted was talking to, I don't want to go into spoilers, but he was talking to Stella, which is someone that he was planning on marrying, and it never actually worked out, and it was just like, and I think she was just talking to him, and she said like, you know, he's like, I just want to find the right person, and she's like, well, you know what? She's trying to get here as fast as she can, and I think that's the way that you really got to think about it. There's bubbles right there, by the way, and that's how you pick up more chocograph stuff. But you use a dead pepper whenever you see bubbles, and I think there's like over in Quanzone you can do the same thing as well. Oh, my phone's going off. Let me see who that is. Okay, it was just Sarah from work. Yeah, but it's like, what was I talking about again? Okay, I got thrown off by someone texting me. It's very confusing. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep on cutting over here. Yeah, I've completely lost my train of thought. Hold on, let me pause this and then get back to you. Okay, so I think I regained my train of thought. No, I was talking about just putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, just like finding the right person. 'Cause I feel like what I look for in a relationship isn't necessarily what other people look for. Like my stepdad was just like, oh yeah, are you chasing some hussy and doing whatever? Because he, he grew up in New Orleans, and I guess he used to do that when he got off of work every single day, just like chase some tail. But that's not what I want. It's like I don't know if that's really obvious from listening to me talk. Maybe I just come off as like a wholesome, fun guy. But I feel like I'm very PG. I feel like I'd make a better like boyfriend or like husband than I would just like someone who just like, oh yeah, I need to go off and do whatever. Like I feel like if I would have went to college in a relationship, I would have tried to make the relationship work. I wouldn't have tried to dump them. Unless I ended up dating someone who wanted to fool around and do all the other stuff like that, and she's like, I think it's really important that we explore and do all these other things. But that's not who I am as a person. Like I like more serious stuff. So that's always something that I've tried to pursue, and I feel like it puts me in a really awkward spot, because I feel like I'm at that age where a lot of people are getting married, and that's the kind of stuff that you should be looking for. But most of the people that are single right now is because they just want to continue to goof around or do whatever, and then the other people who are actually looking for that thing, they found someone, or they paired up with someone, or I don't know how the hell they found someone, because I couldn't find anyone to save my life, so puts me in a tough bind. So I don't know. So I feel like now I come across people, and then whenever I find someone that I really like, it turns out they're already in a relationship. So now I'm constantly trying to gauge whether, like, they're just in a relationship for the sake of convenience, or if they actually they're actually in that relationship because, they want to be in that relationship because they really like the person. And that's really hard to tell. So let's go back to Chocobo's Lagoon, focusing back on the video game commentary for like 5 seconds before I go back into it. But a lot of people, I feel like there's always like this stigma attached to it. It's like, oh, you look dirty, Koopa. Why do I look dirty? I'm blue. You're mean. Did I hurt your feelings? I'm sorry, Koopa. Well, it doesn't matter what color you are, Koopa. I still love you. Why, thank you. Go ahead and play Chocobo's the hot and cold game, and now you can go over to the dark area of the lagoon and dig. That's exactly what we're going to do. I have no idea how Choco hovers over the water, by the way. What is he, like Jesus bird? Like, yeah, that's pretty impressive. But getting back to that, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't know, because I always feel like there's like the stigma attached to a girl who's not in a relationship when they get a little bit older, because they're like, oh, there must be something wrong with her, and I don't think there's anything wrong with her. Like, I'd really hope that if she's not in a relationship with someone, that she makes herself available, and then I can go out with her. It's like, or they send signals. I always feel like a lot of girls are like very cryptic. They're always playing like this mind game with you. There's like, they're trying to, like, I think it's fun. It happened a lot when I was younger. I don't know if that happened to you guys a lot, or if you guys are experiencing it right now, because obviously I know that like my viewers are probably a little bit younger than I am, but they still deal with the same issues that I deal with. I don't feel like those issues necessarily go away. But Koopa, that's amazing. I'll give you bonus time after 4 discoveries. I'll double the points, and this is how you can get like a ton of points, by the way. I feel like these like a lot of issues. Like a lot of girls play these mind games with you, and I feel like I'm always worried that like, when I'm pursuing somebody and then they're actually showing interest, that they're actually like playing a mind game while they're seeing somebody, because then it's like, oh, well, now I have a backup plan, because I don't want to be, someone's backup plan. And, like, cause I was hoping, because you always hope, like, if you are actually interested in me, it's because you're thinking, well, it's a better opportunity. Actually, that sounds like a job. It's not really a job, but it's just like, you look at someone and you're like, you know what, I think that he makes me happier in the long haul than this other person, like X someone. And it'd be so much easier if people like weren't just like constantly like in relationships, for the sake of just being in relationships. So it'd make my job way easier in terms of like deciphering who's available and who's not. Because I mean, when I was younger, I wouldn't pursue somebody who's in a relationship whatsoever, right? Because it's like, if you see them in a relationship, you're like, well, okay, so she's off limits then. But it's so funny because my dad was always saying, he's like, it's like they're not off limits until they're actually like engaged or they're married. And I'm like, well, I don't know how true that is, because I mean, because someone's really happy with someone, like, they're definitely off limits at that point. But if they're not happy, you have to gauge that, and you don't want to be like crossing a boundary or doing something like that. So it's like this fine line that you always have to play, and just finding someone who's actually available at the moment, and someone that you really like. Because I feel like I feel like if I were to find someone who likes the same stuff that I do, I'd be really excited. But if someone likes the same stuff that I do, chances are they've already been taken because, yeah, they're pretty awesome, right? So it puts me in a tough bind because it's like, where do you find that person? You have to find them on the rebound, you know, right? Like, they have to have just broken up with someone, or you have to, like, be friends with them, and then when they break up with, you know, X person who's not actually right for them, but they were just dating them, then that's when you swoop in. And I'm pretty sure that's an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Like, I feel like episodes of TV shows, like, the reason why it's really fun to watch TV and do stuff like that is because the stuff that they go through is very relatable to the stuff that you go through in real life. So just thinking about that. But obviously I don't want to be like someone's second option. I hope that, like, if someone actually likes me and that they're drunk texting me and doing all their things, it's because they're thinking about me during that time as much as, like, I'd be kind of thinking about them, and because I really care. So it's pretty interesting. But I feel like the person that I like right now, like, I feel like we get along really, really well if we got a chance to, like, hang out outside of work. But I feel like she's like very loyal to the person that she's actually seeing, and that's good because, you know, obviously you don't want to be dating someone and then also have them, you know, like, cheat on the person that they're dating, because then that doesn't say a lot about them as a person. So it'd be like, actually, it would reflect really badly on them, and you never want to put them in that position. So it just puts me in a tough spot. By the way, I'm digging for the ocean chocograph, I think, and I cannot find it for the life of me. So it's just tough. I don't know. So I feel like I'm playing like this giant mind game, and it puts me in a tough spot because it's like, well, I don't know what I want to do. It's just like, I don't know what should be expected. If I should keep on pursuing stuff. Obviously, you got to keep your options open. And I feel like girls are always like in this great position because it's like, oh yeah, I'm being pursued by someone, and it makes me so happy that does this and it does that. And guys are sitting there, and, like, we're the ones that got to put ourselves out there. We have to do all the other stuff all the time because obviously, like, I don't know where the whale whisker, perfect, but it's like, I don't know where the women get this thing where they're just like, you know, I want a guy who does this and does that, and they do all this and they do that, and I was like, will you please meet me somewhere? I mean, like, you don't have to meet me halfway, but if you move a little bit in my direction, that would really help me out. And it's like I kind of wish, like, some people were like that, because a lot of the times you don't come across people like that. And obviously, like, if there's a girl watching this, she can feel free to disagree or just be like, you know what, I would move a little bit in that direction than meet you, or, you know, like, that's how I met my boyfriend, or whatever the heck they want to say. But I feel like a lot of women are just like, nope, guys have to do this, they have to be more assertive, they have to do this, they have to do that. And there was always, like, this really good blog thing that I was reading where it was like, oh, da-da-da-da-da, and if a woman's this, and this, the guy's still gonna date him. Like, if a guy doesn't have this, doesn't have that, forever alone. So it's like, I feel like guys have to make, like, so much effort in order to, like, get someone to go out with them sometimes, and it's like, I feel like we have to be so perfect. And obviously we don't really have to be perfect in the long haul, because women are beautiful, and all they have to do is, you know, just, like, bat their eyes, and we turn into mush, basically. But I mean, like, because the guys can't bat their eyes, because they bat their eyes and we're just like, what the hell's wrong with you? You have something in your eye? So go ahead, another bubble set. But I feel like I'm digging up, like, all the bubbles that you can find right now. So obviously, if you've been watching the last two videos, obviously I haven't really talked about, like, what I've actually been digging up, but I hope that you guys can follow along, because I mean, it's just watching the thing and you get to listen to me talk about random life stuff, because it's just something that I really wanted to talk about, and I didn't know how long my roommate was going to be sleeping, and I need to record this stuff. And basically, I think I have, like, up to part 60 recorded, but I need to get part 60 to 61 recorded, but I need to get this particular chunk out of the way, because I know this one's coming up really soon, because I'm actually recording this live. It is September 7th, and obviously by the time I post it up, it'll be around the 15th, 17th, something like that, right? So, like, I need to get it up, because I only have two more videos prior to, like, my whole sequence of Chocobo hunting before I get back into the storyline again. So obviously I didn't record any live commentary with this because there was just so much editing, and if I were to record, you know, like 3 hours of Chocograph hunting, it would take up my entire hard drive. I don't have the frap space for it. So basically what I'm doing right here, I'm gonna find another Chocograph. Where the hell is it? Yeah, but in a nutshell, it's kind of like, you just like someone, you gotta go for it, right? You just gotta, even if it means getting hurt. I feel like that's the most important thing to take from it. Like, from that C.S. Lewis quote, it's like love hurts, but it's worth the risk. So I feel like I'm a really lousy person to get advice from sometimes, but I feel like that's actually pretty good advice. And, you know, just like, just keep at it and know that, like, rejection isn't the end of the world. Like I always thought. Well, that's basically what I used to think when I was in high school. It's just like, it makes you feel so bad. I think it was like the first two girls that I tried to ask out. One of them, when I was in 8th grade, it was just like she didn't even talk to me for like 4 years because she was just in shock when I asked her out, and like she had like really strict parents and all the other stuff. And then the other girl, I think she actually just wasn't into me and she wasn't expecting it at all, and then it just made things awkward. And I mean, I had a chance to talk to her again finally. It wasn't awkward at all. And the other girl apologized to me, but I mean, like, but don't think that it's the end of the world if you get rejected by someone or people just act awkwardly, because it's really hard. I feel like the person I'm actually pursuing right now reminds me so much of how I used to think when I was, like, 3 years ago or something like that. So maybe that's the reason why I kind of like her, but yeah, see, I want to go ahead and wrap up all this stuff about Chocograph hunting and just talking about random stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling on about all these other things. Hopefully it was enlightening in some way. It probably wasn't. But thank you so much for watching and putting up with me. Obviously, feel free to click the like button if the Chocograph segment helped you out a whole bunch. Obviously, the relationship advice probably didn't help you at all. And I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.